Traveling Hour with Lisa, Season 10, Episode 2, here live from the living room and a little plant sanctuary as it is right now. Good news, we've poured the concrete for, well, I didn't, but the concrete has been poured for the new greenhouse. So the concrete slab what the greenhouse is going to go on. So now we just need to get the installers back for the greenhouse to put the greenhouse together. And then lots of these plants can go out of my living room and into the greenhouse. So I told you guys in the last 2 weeks that I would be doing, going through all my seeds and I have so many seeds that I don't need them all. So I'd be going through them and then I'd be posting them out to anybody who wants some seeds. So if you want any seeds, let me know and I can post you out some. But as I was going through the seeds, I have these kits with like vegetables and herbs and even this mushroom kit. And I was looking at it and I was going to just plant them all just to get them out of the way. Because some of them I've had for quite a few years, so I don't even know if they'll take. But then I thought, oh my god, this will be perfect for my live on Sunday. So I'm going to plant these herbs and stuff with you guys here. Now obviously they're not going to grow like tonight on the live, but I'll plant them now and we'll try this. I've never grown mushrooms before, so we'll see how this works out, and then in the next few weeks I can show you how they're working. So I have a mess full here on the table of stuff and I will slowly move it off. This isn't actually really a table, it's actually a very wobbly like plastic bin with wheels. I don't know what it's called, a trolley kind of thing, and it has like a little table on top of it just to make it a table. But it'll work for my live, so once I move some of the wobbly stuff off of it, like my drink at the front, then we will see how it goes. So I'm going to move this to a safer place. Maybe, I mean, I'm very clumsy anyway, so is there any safer place near me? And Samantha says, hello, would love some seeds if you don't mind. Absolutely no problem. I got flowers, I got vegetables. Okay, so anyways, this is, I'm going to show you now. I've squished them in here because they're, like you can see that one's sticking out. Like they don't even fit in here. This is all the packets of seeds that I'm getting rid of. These are all the ones, so if I don't post them out to people, I'm donating them to, there's the Middlewich Crazy Daisies who do wildflowers and stuff all over Middlewich, and anybody else. So there's a lot of seeds to go around. Let me know if you want some and what you're looking for, and I'll see if I have it in this magic bin of seeds. I'll set it back on the dog's bed over there. So how is everyone? How was your week? What have you been up to? What's new? It is February 19th. And yesterday, me and Steve, we had the Feathers Aura workshop. So I got my Aura picture taken and learned more about your Aura. Your Aura is the magnetic electric field around us. Everybody has one. Plants, animals, they all have them. Even the Earth has one. That's what the northern and southern lights are. And so it's not just a spiritual thing, it's also a scientific thing that we all have a magnetic field around us, and it has colors and gives off different frequencies and yada yada. So we were doing stuff with auras yesterday at the workshop, and then today I had my stepdaughter's baby shower. Yes, that's right. Amy is pregnant, if you didn't already know, and she's due in, close to the end of March. And we are going to be grandparents. So that was very exciting. It was a lovely time. She's looking great and healthy, and she's almost done the pregnancy. So that is wonderful. Samantha says Spencer has been back in hospital, got home a bit ago. Now I know Spencer had to go for some appointments and stuff, but I hope he's doing well. I'm sorry that he had to be back in hospital. For those of you who don't know, Spencer is my friend Samantha's 9-month-old son, actually 9.5 months old. And so yes, he's not 10 months old yet, I don't think, but soon. But yeah, so 9.5-month-old son who was born premature, so he has certain issues, and but he's doing really well overall, and he's quite healthy, but obviously there's something going on that he needed to go back in for. So oh, sorry, see, oh yeah, it's the 19th, so he's 10 months old today. So yes, 10 months old already. The time is just flying by. Like, I can't believe how quickly it's going. I'm trying to keep my head like over here so it blocks the reflection of the light, which is probably good. But so, and I'm getting a bit warm, so I might need to take off my clothes. Whew, try to wear some more scarves so I can send them to my sister. This one's more of a like, it's not totally a wintry scarf, but I ironed it so it was like flat and stuff, but it's still, so this is my outfit that I wore to the shower today as the evil stepmom. So yeah, so we should, okay, so Samantha might recognize this on my table, because it is a lovely gift from her and her family for Christmas. What do we have in here? But, and I'm not going to use these, like actually use them for what they're for. I'm going to display them when I have my garden shed and I put everything nice. And how nice is that? A pair of gloves. Sweet Pea Sensation, like, ointment for, like, for your hands, or whatever. I can't see what it is for. I think it's for your hands. And this garden trowel. So how cute is that? And Samantha says, ah, yes, I do. So, yeah, this is my cute trowel set. And I'm going to put it in, I want to display, you know, my stuff in, I have a little shelf in the dining room right now with some of my gardening stuff, like the mugs, like, and different, like, collectible. But I don't have a lot of this kind of stuff. I know I'm an avid gardener, but actually you would think that people would buy stuff like this for me for my birthday and Christmas. But honestly, I don't get very many things like this. So this is a wonderful gift. And I thought it would look really nice on the table and that I would show you guys because it's like a gardening themed rambling hour. Although it's a rambling hour, so we'll ramble about anything that you guys want to talk about. I'm going to take things off the table so that we can work so I'm going to take off my jacket. Well, it's actually a cardigan. And that, I mean, that's a me thing too. I don't like stuff in my way. So usually I have my hair back, less clothes, like tight clothes like this, so that it's not tight where it's like, you know, like look at everything sticking out, but just fitted so that it's not in my way when I try to work. I've got my, this is a gift that I got for my birthday from the family, and it's a watering can that I have not used yet, but I filled it up today, and I put the, what's this thing called again, the rose on, but I'm not going to be using the rose in the house because that would make too much of a shower. So I'll take the rose off, and we will use it without the rose for watering the seedlings and stuff that we are going to do. I have a spray bottle in case we just need to spritz to make things moist, because I know everyone loves that word. And I put a few houseplants here. Might as well enjoy them before I kill them, because I'm not as good with houseplants as I am with the other ones. You can see the lemons in the background still going, except this big leaf of this angel's trumpet is taken over. So let us get started. Now I'm going to show you guys, this one here is called, so actually these kits, some of them I did get as gifts, but I don't know how old they are, and like they are at least a year old or more because I haven't done them yet. This one here says Funky Veg Kit, and there's more in this series. It's a bit bright there coming, but anyways, if you can see the writing. It's a Funky Veg Kit. It's got, let me grab my spectacles. So it's got purple carrots, golden zucchini, tigerella tomatoes. Those are the ones that are like a red tomato but with orange stripes on it, so like a tiger. And Red Bull cabbage and Bright Lights chard, so Swiss chard. Yeah, so it has those 5 things, but most of these things need to be sown in April, so the seeds aren't getting planted today. With herbs, you can grow them any time of the year. Mushrooms, you can probably grow any time of the year as well. But yeah, the herb ones you can grow in the windowsill any time of the year, even in Canada, anywhere that's nice and sunny and warm. And in Canada, we get a lot of winter sun, so even though it's cold outside, it can still be warm in the house, and with the sun coming through the window, so you can do it in there as well. So let us get started. Do we want to do mushrooms first? I don't know, there's not mushroom on the table here for us to work. I know, I kill myself. Okay, so I did read the instructions on this. Looking for my spectacles, they're right here. I did read the instructions on this the other day, and that's why it's open, because I was about to do it before, and then I thought it would be a good thing to do on my live. How to grow your own mushrooms. So these look like white cap mushrooms. Mushrooms, beautiful garden. Yeah, it doesn't say what kind on there. Let me see on the back. It says spawn mushroom compost growing. Picture for guide purpose only. Okay, so empty the bag of growing medium casing layer evenly over the spawned compost and add water. Leave the surface uneven. Do not pat down. Place the tray back into the box to create a dark environment, but leave the box open to let some air into tray. Put the tray in a warm, dry place, 20 to 24 degrees Celsius for approximately 6 days. Do not put in airing cupboard or near direct heat. So for you guys who don't know, an airing cupboard here is like where your hot water tank would be. In a cupboard, they would have these shelves, but they'd be like slat shelves so that the air circulates in there and you can put things in there to dry. But usually if your hot water tank's in there and stuff, then it can be it's not necessarily a dry, warm airing cupboard. It could be humid, so we don't want to put it there or next to direct heat. After 6 days, a white fluffy growth, mycelium, that's the, like it looks kind of like mold, but it's not mold. It's the growth of the mushrooms. Should appear on the surface of the casing layer. Remove from the box and place in a cool, dark area, 16 to 20 degrees Celsius, out of any drafts. Check contents daily and keep damp using a mist spray. Boop, boop. Mushrooms should begin to appear after several days. You can leave them to grow as large as you want. When you have removed your mushrooms, you can reuse the compost to grow more. For best results, place back into box as before and return to a warmer place for approximately 24 hours. This pack may allow several crops, but will diminish with time. At the end of the final crop, use the contents as compost in recycled box and plastic tray. So let us try this out. I've never grown mushrooms. Let me know if you have. And we will see how these go. And so I said in the next few weeks, I will show you what's happening when they say, it's cool that you use the box as well. Like you use, so inside the package, there's a bag of compost and there's this, it looks like bark kind of with, like that probably has a mushroom spawn in it. Like what do you call those? What do you call it? Not spawn. Yeah, is it spawn? Like what do like ferns give it off to, and that's how they procreate with like the stuff in the air. Let me see. Does it say again, or is my brain just not working? Spawned. Yeah, spawned compost. So yeah, it's called spawn. Evenly over. So I'm guessing this is the bag of growing medium, like soil and such, and it says to empty the bag of growing medium evenly over the spawned compost and add water. Wait, or is this the growing medium? Because it'll grow on there, and this is the spawned compost. I don't know, because how can I dump this on top of that if this is in a bag and that's not? So I'm going to guess that this goes on top of that. What do you guys think? Should we do it that way? My nose is running and I don't have a tissue. Okay, you know what, Samantha, can you quickly look up for me on a mushroom kit if the stuff that looks like bark is the compost with the spawn in it, or if it's the growing medium? Now, I would say this is a growing medium, because I would say growing medium usually means like your soil or whatever. But compost can be your soil as well, so I don't know. So we'll wait till Samantha tells me which one goes on top of which, and then we'll figure that out in a second. And we'll do that. Let me just set it over here. And I need to grab a tissue. And we will get going on these. Oh, Steve, you're watching as well. Maybe you can do this. Steve, in my mushroom kit, unless Samantha's already doing it, in my mushroom kit to grow mushrooms, they give you a bag of soil, which I know here you guys call compost, and they give you this stuff that looks like, sort of like bark. Now, on here it says to put one on top of the other, but this one's in a bag, this one's not in a bag, so it's easier to put this on top of that. But one of them is One of them is the bag of growing medium. It says casing layer. And you sprinkle it evenly over the spawned compost. So is this a spawned compost and this is a growing medium, or vice versa? Wait, empty the bag of growing medium evenly over the spawned compost. Oh yeah, that's what I would think. So this would go on top of that. I think that's what it is. But just, can you guys check for me, please, just to make sure I don't want to do it wrong. And I'm going to grab a Kleenex really quickly and then I'll keep going. Sorry, just blowing my nose off camera. That's also happening now is allergy season is starting again with plants starting to grow. Steve's laughing, I think, on there. I can't really see, and you're kind of far away from me to check. I think he's laughing at me blowing my nose, probably, because that's what good husbands do. Yep. That's what it is. Hi, honey.
I think the clue's in the fact it says empty the bag.
I know that's what I thought too, but I was just making sure. Okay, then we'll do that first.
Okay, goodbye. Love you.
Okay, bye. Love you too.
Lena, come on.
You guys, if you want to see Steve, he doesn't usually make an appearance, but on my last live last week, he came on and waved really quickly.
Reflection.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw him in the reflection, but. Alright, so let's do this. Okay, so empty contents, sprinkle over, water, and then put back in the box, and then we got to put it somewhere warm but not too hot, not next to direct heat for a few days. So sprinkle evenly. I'll just shake it. They say not to pat it down. I will bin that later. And then water. Are you guys having fun with me? Water. This is a funny thing too about doing stuff like this, is this is not professional in any way, and I am super duper clumsy. So I'm going to put some water in there and I'm going to see how moist that gets, because I don't want to overdo it either. We don't want to drown everything and then it'll just rot. I mean, I haven't grown mushrooms before, but I know a thing or two about putting too much water in things, and then it just kills it anyways. So I'm going to temporarily set it in here, but we'll check how moist that is as well. It didn't say how much water to initially put in it, but it says to leave that open so air can get in. So I'm going to set that here, and I'm going to, well, set it on the ground. I got to think about where to put that. That's not too hot, but it's the right temperature and stays the right temperature in this house. But I don't think it needs, I wonder if it's humid, so maybe I can put it in the bathroom upstairs, but it needs to be somewhere dark, but it's not really dark in there at all, because we usually leave the light on even at night. But that's the warmest room probably. I'll have to think about it. So let's do this one next. This one, again, some of these are quite old. So by 2012, so this is even before I moved here. And that's the year I met Steve. So this wasn't a gift. This is an old one. I'm gonna guess it was probably here when I moved here and cleaned up things and stuff. So we got 5 different little what do you call it? Decompose, like you can. So everything here is good for the environment, because these can be, you know what I'm trying to say? They're core, well, not core, what, here, I'll tell you and what they're made out of. So this is 5 starter growing pots made from coconut husk. And then 5 natural coconut husk compost discs, which expand when watered. 5 wooden plant markers, and your herb garden growing booklet. Oh, there's a booklet in there, good. And then we got basil, parsley, thyme, chives, and rosemary. So one of the things that inspired me to do this on here, I'm gonna put a disc in each one, is my sister Melody, who was talking about growing herbs at her house in Canada. And like I said, if anybody can grow herbs, even indoors, any time of year, if you have a sunny and warm spot to grow them, then take a chance. Like, you got nothing to lose. Like I said, these seeds are really old. I have some more like newer seeds if these ones don't take, but we have our like sticks, so that's for marking. We'll just write on there which one is which, so we know. And we got a little booklet and growing tips. That is small writing, and it tells you about the different herbs. And obviously I need my spectacles for that. Nice cute box, and our 5 packets of seeds. So with these, you have the discs. You don't have to add any more soil than that. You put 1 disc in it, and then you water. Like, I've used these discs before, so I know that much. And you add a little bit of water to each one, and it's gonna coconut fiber holds moisture like peat moss. So the fact that we're not using peat in gardening much anymore, because it just wrecks the environment, wrecks the peat bogs and everything else. Coconut fiber is a good alternative for peat because it holds the moisture like peat does. So, but I am thinking, because these are made of coconut as well, I don't have pots for these right now, but I want at least some kind of tray to put them on before I water them, so that any excess water, I don't want to overwater them again, I don't want things to drown, but while they're absorbing the water, I think that they might, what's the word I'm looking for, like get my table all wet. So I need to find a tray, but obviously there's not just going to be a tray sitting around me out here, but I don't want to leave you guys, you know. But I'm going to have to leave you guys and go get a tray. Plus, I need a pen or a marker for my sticks. I wonder if we should do a certain color. Should we write in green or black or what? Give me 1 second and I'll grab the things we need, because you think that I would have been organized before I started, but I can only be so organized. And that would just be too good of me to be totally organized. No, cutting in front of the camera because everything's in the way there, including the dog who's lying on the floor. Cheap IKEA plastic tray. The only blue one we have. We have a bunch of clear ones, but this is the only blue one we have. I like using it for gardening stuff because it's a bit scratched up. So I need to move these. All right. I'm going to write my sticks first, because then I can move them off of this, because again, the water might drain onto the tray. So, what do we have again? Let's see. Rosemary. I had rosemary growing out in the garden, but it doesn't look like it survived this winter that we just had. So rosemary might be a tough one for my Canadian people to grow, but you can always try, especially if you can grow anything that you can grow from seeds. Is going to be a cheap way to try things out. So we have flat parsley, flat leafed parsley, but I'm just going to call it flat parsley. And the reason I'm doing that is because in this kit there is curly parsley. Sweet basil or basil, depending where you live. My Sharpie is just spreading out as I write it, but I'll still know what's what, hopefully, if I don't knock these over, and as I tend to do with some seeds. Chives I have chives out in the garden too. And basil, even when you grow it here, we grow it annually, like you have to grow it every year. And what was the other one? Parsley. Parsley can grow indoors as well. And parsley, if you don't have too harsh of a winter, parsley will come back here. And thyme, I have some thyme. Thyme will grow in Canada as well, so you can grow thyme outside in Canada, even with the harsh winters, and thyme grows here as well. Thyme likes it dry though too, so if you're growing it outside, most herbs are Mediterranean, so if you're growing them outside, they don't want to be too wet. There is a few, like chives can grow in water, like directly in water, yeah, so there is a few, and there is even some herbs that'll take more shade than others, but you just have to look into them. But most are Mediterranean, want sun and heat and dry. So, okay, so we're gonna wait for those to puff up now that I added water before we add our seeds and our sticks, okay? So I'll set those aside. I'm gonna move that to the front so I have room to put stuff here. And while we're waiting for the coconut to absorb the water, we're going to open up the last one. And I'm really excited to get these out of the way because, like I said, I've had them for... Oh, right, I forgot about this one. I tucked this one in the box because there's room. This is just a See Me Grow micro greenhouse. And it is, again, let's see what year is on this, complete with amazing magic soil. All you need to grow flavor-packed micro shoots in your own kitchen. So I'm pretty sure this is cress, which I love a good egg and cress sandwich. And cress is easy. Sorry for the dog barking. That is just Tom getting home with Sasha, so you might hear some walking around. The dog's playing. Okay, so we have... Do you want me to let her out?
Yeah, I'll take her out.
Okay. Sorry to be annoying. Oh, you can even, it says to use the window sucker, so you can put this against, okay, your micro greenhouse is now ready to grow. Stand it on a, what? I didn't do all the steps yet. I see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Growing sprouts out of direct sunlight. I should lightly moisten the back of, okay, and do not leave air pockets. Your micro salad will grow inside the sealed pouch in 6 to 10 days. Do not open the pouch until micro salad is ready. No need to add more water. That's because it's in a bag, so it's going to act like its own greenhouse. Oh, it says include sandwich mix, top quality seeds, 1 free surprise seed packet. You can see everything grow, roots and all. So I'm guessing it says a sandwich mix with a surprise seed packet. So maybe it's cress, maybe it's other things. And it's got another, oh, I see. Oh, no. That's red cabbage. Oh, I guess, okay, so this is red cabbage, and this is sprouting seed sandwich mix. Cress, rapeseed is, well, in Canada we call it, oh my gosh. What do you call it? What are the yellow flowers that are in the fields? It's castor, no, not castor. Oh my gosh. So anyways, whatever we call it in Canada, my brain has stopped working, let me think, is only one form of rapeseed. So it's, we make oil out of it and stuff that you use in cooking. Yeah, my brain is not working. I can't remember what we call it. If it comes to me, then, but you see those fields of yellow in the autumn, not autumn, sorry, in late summer in Canada, and or in summertime actually in Canada, and it gets all yellow. That is the same as rapeseed. So, but the one that we grow in Canada, like in Alberta and stuff, is a type of rapeseed, whereas there's other types besides that as well. So there's red cabbage, and then this this mix has cress, rape, mustard, like white mustard, broccoli, and fenugreek. So the difference is that, so even with cabbage, all of the microgreens means that you take them when they're really little and they're just sprouts. So there's lots of things, like even like they said, mustard, like things that you can eat as a little sprout instead of letting it grow into a big plant and such. So you can grow lots of things and eat them as sprouts. So we don't need to use all the seeds, we can grow more. And actually these say to use by 2015, so it's not as old as the other ones. So we'll do those ones. I don't know why I'm not remembering what the canola. So the yellow fields in Alberta and stuff, it's canola oil. So canola is one type of of rapeseed. Okay, so this one that is from the box has 3 pots. And these are terracotta pots. Terracotta absorbs moisture really well, so it'll hold some moisture in it, but they also dry out, so you can water terracotta pots in a thing of water. Even the terracotta will absorb the moisture. But they're good for growing herbs in because they'll wick the moisture out of the soil, so that your soil won't stay too wet for the Mediterranean herbs. So let's not get things mixed up. I'm going to put this one, this big one, into the bag. Well, let me read the instructions because that's what you should do. But I looked at the back and the pictures show it going in here and then you adding water so that will puff up the same as we're waiting for these ones to do. But I will just confirm what it says. So maybe these are for kids, maybe not. Let's just enjoy ourselves. So locate the open flap at the top of the growing pouch and carefully push out the bottom gusset, enabling the pouch to stand up on its own. Place the compost disc inside the pouch. Okay, so opening it up like that on the bottom. Where did I just, there we go. Putting the disc back in. Pour 200 milliliters of water onto the compost disc. As if by magic, the disc will expand to 8 times its original size. Make sure there are no dry patches. Gently tap the compost and smooth out the surface. Sprinkle the seeds evenly on top of the compost, gently pressing them down to make contact with the surface. Carefully remove the tape strip and seal the top flap to the back of the pouch. With the pouch standing upright, carefully pull out the top gusset to make space inside the pouch for the seeds to grow. Always wash your hands after using soil. Seeds are not to be eaten. Ensure you wash micro salad shoots before using. Your micro greenhouse is now ready to go. Stand it on a warm, light windowsill or use the sucker to hang it to a window. So I guess there's a hole right here that you can use one of those suction cups with it, but I don't see one that came with it. So, but actually I do have some. So, remember to keep the growing sprouts out of direct sunlight. So a bright windowsill, but not direct sunlight for these ones. Because then they'll cook and they'll rot inside if it's too much sun. That goes for like any seedlings that you're growing. Even these ones here that we're starting, they don't need to start in direct sun. Once your plants have grown, then they'll want the sun and the warm window ledge. They'll want warmth to grow, but not necessarily direct sun when they're little and more, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, tender. To enjoy a fresh, tasty micro salad at its best, eat within 2 days. To use the window sucker, okay, well, we might not do that. Your micro salad will grow inside the sealed pouch in 6 to 10 days. Do not open the pouch until the micro salad is ready. No need to add more water. So, yes, the 200 mils. So, am I going to guess? Oh, there is a little sucker in there. A little tiny succotash. Okay, so I'm gonna, I actually have a measuring cup over here. So I want you to see that those are getting bigger. It's already like twice the size, but I think I need to add more water. You can see where it's dry there and wet on the bottom, and it needs more water. So I'm gonna add a bit more water to those. The good thing about those ones is, like I said, it's gonna run out the bottom, and actually I see now that I've stood up that these terracotta pots have holes in the bottom, which is good too, because you don't want too much water to stay in them when you're growing herbs. But saying that, it'll be the same thing about growing them on the tray. The water's going to run out the bottom until it absorbs it. So I want to move my seeds and put that with the rest of the rubbish. This is my stuff for these pots, and it feels like the soil isn't the core thing. This feels like it might actually be a growing medium. So let's see. Yeah, but there's lumps in it. I was wondering what was hard in it, but it's just really dry and lumpy. Let me check the date on that one too. Does it have a date? Yeah, 20 to use by 2017. Now this one was a gift for me, I'm pretty sure, but I haven't used it until now. Never too late. Like I said, the growing medium is fine, and I have more new seeds, so if these ones don't grow, then I can always try again. And that's the thing with gardening, is you just got to keep trying, because you're going to fail at lots of things, and you're going to kill lots of plants. But I just asked my dad in heaven to take care of my plants, and I'm going to have a beautiful garden up there with everything that I've killed. And yeah, I'm not going to learn without trying, so I've had to, at first I was very sad about anything that died, but dying is part of life, and you know, I just had to get on with it and know that, see what a great moment that is for live. Like, it's everywhere now. It's everywhere. We'll still have enough for this, I'm sure, but I knew that might happen. Should have just had some scissors. But who wants scissors when I can throw dirt everywhere and make a mess? I remember when I first started with houseplants, I was living in an apartment, and it was like this, just a mess of me, clumsy, messy. Some places you use different soil for, it's so dry it's coming out the bottom, but I can add it to the top after. So there's different growing soil for seedlings, so that it's not as, in soil in the garden, I mean, if you plant directly in the garden, that's different, but there can be stuff in the soil that will prohibit growth for seedlings. So sometimes it's better to use a sterile seedling compost for starting your seeds. So I'm going to add some water to these ones, and it's going to go right straight through to the bottom hole, but once this is absorbed a little bit, then it'll be better. And I'm going to grab this measuring cup that I've been using over here to water these plants, and we're going to put 200 mils in there, so we will know exactly what we're doing with this little greenhouse. You know, I thought this was only going to take like a few minutes on my live, and the way it's working out now, it's taking a lot longer. I can hear the dog wanting in behind me, but she'll have to wait. So 200 mils of water in our micro baggy greenhouse. Let's hope there's no holes poked in that after all these years. And that disc, you can even see that I can put it closer to the front where you can watch it expand in real time. Let's see, is it, no, not there. Where can I put it? There. Let's check our mushroom one as well, because we might need to add more water to that. Wait, where? Oh, it's on the floor. Okay. Okay, let's check our mushrooms. Just a little bit more. It hasn't absorbed all the water yet. I'm gonna leave it. And I'll check it in a couple hours when it has, like the soil's really dry from these being so old, so I'm going to give it time to really absorb what moisture is in there, because I don't want to overdo it.
Wait.
Nope, these ones still need more moisture as well. This one might be good. I'm just breaking up the soil. So these are I'm going to put these in the corner. The water's running to that corner on the tray, so it'll absorb it from the bottom as well there. So one of them is now nice and moist. Yeah, so I'm just going to break up the soil and pat it down, and then that one will be ready for seeds. Some seeds need sunlight to oh, it's dry on the bottom still. I can feel it. Some need sunlight to. Why is my brain sprout? Like, what's the word? Anyways, what's the word when a seedling comes out of its little, they need sunlight to work, and some need to be buried to work. So always read your seed packets and it'll tell you exactly what it needs. If it needs to be planted on top of the soil so that it has sunlight for it to sprout, or if it needs to be buried so deep or what have you, it'll say on the seed packet. And the good thing nowadays is that, well, I know on obviously on these seed packets it doesn't say, but that's because it says on the box with the instructions. But the good thing nowadays is that there's the internet too, so if you don't know, you can look up there as well. So all the small ones are feeling quite good and moist, but let me check these bigger ones. How exciting this is. And I'm going to put these in the kitchen in the windowsill. And we will see, oh, that's so dry. We will see in the next few weeks how well we've done with really old seeds. Now the thing about old seeds is some of them, the older the seeds, the less likely they are to germinate. That's the word I was looking for, seeds that germinate. It just means that, say you start with 10 seeds and you should grow them within 2 years. Then if you plant all 10 seeds, then maybe 8 of them will grow if you grow them within those 2 years. If you wait longer than that, if you wait 4 years, then maybe only 6 of them will grow. If you wait 4 years or 6 years, then maybe only 2 out of the 10 will grow. So it doesn't mean that you totally lose your chances. It just means that it's less likely to germinate. So the thing is, you never know, so just sprinkle them. And sometimes, like with flower seeds, I also have that's why you shouldn't get rid of seeds in certain places, because you don't want them to be invasive weeds. So you don't want to just get rid of your seedlings or your seeds anywhere. But I have a place, the patch on the, what I call Tudor bed, where I painted that Tudor cottage. And this circly bit where the wildflowers grow, that's where I sprinkle all my old flower seeds and stuff. So if anything is still viable and will grow, then it has the chance to grow there, because I'll weed weeds out, but I don't till the soil there or anything. So yeah, if you have enough space and a place to do that, where you can put seeds, some of them will germinate years later, and you're like, where did that come from? How did that get in my garden? It could be brought in by a bird, or it could be that it was there for years. And especially like if you till soil, which some people do the no dig thing now, where they don't till the soil anymore. You just make your holes for planting and you keep planting, because especially with like we're growing the mushrooms, like the I don't remember the word. What's the word for mushroom fungus stuff? It starts with it's on the box. The micro, mycelium. So, like fungus and stuff, they make networks. You'll see the white stuff, like it makes networks, just like plants make roots. The fungus and stuff like that will do their networks of stuff. And when you till soil, you're disturbing all that. And actually there's lots of good things in the soil that help plants grow better. When you disturb that, it has to start again to make that environment. So sometimes it's better to just make your holes where you want to plant, leaving everything else intact. So that's the no dig method. You can look that up. Otherwise, if you feel like it's too lumpy, you want to till it, that's fine too. It's just a different method. But when you till soil, say that hasn't been worked in years, you might bring up seeds like poppy seeds or something that have been buried for so long but are still viable. They just needed the sun to grow or whatever. So there is some seeds that, some plants and seeds that will only grow after they've been through a fire. So like a forest fire and everything else, and the seeds will only sprout after they've been through a hot fire, which is really cool. So I think most of our soil is at least damp enough for us to sprinkle our seeds. And then this part of the show will be done because there's not much you can see. Oh, look at this. Have you guys seen how tall that's getting? And we're not putting any more soil in that. We're just going to move it around and smush it, but it's just gotten taller. So one thing at a time. Let's go with the 5 little guys here that are ready to go, okay? Let's plant these ones up first. So, and kids that are watching, you can see that Auntie Lisa is just as messy as kids can be. So if it's nice outside in the summertime, you can do this, but if it's not, then you just need a place where you can clean up. So we know what we're having in these 5 pots because we wrote them on the sticks. So let's make sure that when we put the seeds in the pot, we're using the same stick. So we have parsley flat leafed. Now they give you a lot of seeds in here, but we don't need to dump all the seeds in because you don't want to put too many seeds or they will fight for room. Unless you're doing like microgreens, like we're doing with that. Holy moly, this is a lot of flat leaf parsley seeds. So we just want, if you're scared that you're going to just dump too many, you can always put them in a hand like this, like in, and then take them out of this hand and sprinkle them here and sprinkle them, what's the word I'm looking for, like in different areas, like around. You don't want them all in one clump, especially with parsley. We want them to be their own individual little plants. There we go. So we will firm that down so that they make contact with the soil. You're not going to be able to see, I don't know if you'll be able to see the seeds on this camera. Maybe you will. Well, I can't see with my glasses. Yeah, you can see the little tiny seeds. So they're in contact with the soil. That's our parsley. They're spread around in different places. And I will put the, oh no, I'm dirtying my, okay, so flat parsley. My stick in there, and that one is done. So it will sit in my window when I'm done. So that, now also with the extra seeds, I can grow these outside as well, or I can have different pots. You can try little window boxes. If you have the room to do the little window boxes, you can buy those and then do them inside on your window ledge if you have one, or if you put a little shelf in front of a window. So I'm going to fold that down tightly. This is a foil packet, so it'll keep the seeds for years. Good, even though they've already been in there for years. So then we will do our basil. Same thing. We're going to open it. We're going to only use a few seeds. We can always grow more after the plants are no longer giving you fresh, good greens or whatever. Then you can, okay, hang on. I'm going to flatten my dirt first before I put these on because it's a bit too lumpy, so I don't want them going into holes if they need to be on top. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle that lightly and around, and I dumped a few out because I tilted my hand. So that, and then I'm just going to, again, touch them lightly so they go on. You're not going to be able to see these ones probably because, well, they're black and the dirt's brown, but I can try showing you, but I don't know if you'll be able to see them. Very tiny black seeds. Same thing, we'll put our label in, sweet basil, and we will set that there. Another one done. Same thing, I'm going to pat the soil down on this one. I'm going to fold up my basil seeds so none spill out. And I'm going to open my chives. Hang on a second, I did this wrong. No. Only with the basil. I used the wrong one. I used it from the other one. So I used the right flat parsley. But I was supposed to use sweet green basil for these little ones. And I used sweet Genevieve basil. Not a big deal. But, so chives, same thing, I have chives in both ones, so it doesn't matter. So these chives. Chives come back every year. You can grow them in Canada. You can grow them here. A little bit like onions. Oh, should I put them in my... Do this because it's... These are tiny black seeds. They look very similar to onion seeds if you've ever grown onions. And again, you want to space them out because they're going to be their own little individual plants. If you've ever grown sweet, spring onions and stuff, you see how they grow separate. So your chives are going to be like that as well. Just pat them down. And then get my stick that says chives. I'd like to grow garlic chives. I don't have any garlic chives yet here. I had some in Canada, but kind of curl. The leaves are flat and they taste more like garlic. They're quite nice. So I'm going to flatten my soil here. I'm going to flatten this one at the same time, and then I'm going to close my chive packet up so that I don't spill my seeds. It's very nice to watch onions and anything in the allium family like chives grow. They, like some seedlings will grow with 2 little seedling leaves, but alliums grow like this finger folded like that, like a long skinny, and then they grow like one, like it looks like a piece of grass, but really it's the first leaf of the onion. Okay, so we have rosemary. Now, I've never grown rosemary from seed to my knowledge. The rosemary that I have had in the garden has been bought. You can, once you have rosemary, whether it's in the garden, like bought as a plant, or you've grown it from seed, we'll see how well this does. You can take sprigs of it off and root them, so you can get, you can propagate your rosemary from your original plant. So we'll see how good the rosemary does with growing it from seed, especially old seed. Like I said, some seeds will, it doesn't matter how old they are, some seeds you want to sow as fresh as you can. Some need to be sown like as soon as they are, the seeds are growing on the plant, you need to put them into the ground right away. And our last one in this thing is Old English thyme. Do you ever feel you don't have enough time? You can just grow some. Oh, those are tiny. They're the thyme seeds, again, I don't think I've grown thyme from seed before, but they are as, like almost, they remind me of poppy seeds, but almost even smaller than poppy seeds, and I probably even have put too many in here. So, thyme is good for growing in, especially creeping thyme. It's good for growing in cracks and stuff like where nothing else will grow, because it tends to be dry in those cracks, and then the thyme will grow in the cracks, and if it's creeping thyme, it'll creep over and stuff. So, and then it's something that is good for the bees when it flowers. But be careful if you're growing thyme, because when the purple flowers come in the spring or summer, the bees love it, but you don't want to step on a bee and get stung or hurt the bee. Thyme. Okay, that one's done. Now we have our 3 big ones. So again, we have chives, but I'm going to use the seeds that came with it because they might be more viable than the ones that are with the other one. I need to get things for this as well before I forget which one is which, right? So I'll put them in alphabetical order. Chives starts with the C. Basil. starts with a B. Basil, pat them down. Lena, just wait. Sorry about the dog barking behind me. Basil, chives. And this is curled parsley now, instead of flat leaf parsley. All of these herbs that we're doing today are very tiny seeds. Say the thyme was the tiniest of them all though. So it's better that I'm putting them into my hand like this and then just sprinkling a few. So now, even though we're going to try growing these, if the seeds are viable, there is still so many there. If you want to check if your seeds are viable, something that you can do too with a small clear plastic bag is get a damp paper towel. Come on, in. Good girl. A damp paper towel, so pitch and roll they call it here. And put it in like a Ziploc bag, a small baggie. And sprinkle some seeds in it on the paper towel and then close it, and it makes like, again, a micro greenhouse. So you can see then within however many days. You can also look that up. If it doesn't say on the packet, it'll tell you how many days it takes for the seeds to germinate. So like RHwL's are one of my favorite flowers. They grow in Canada as well. They're called columbines, RHwL's. They can take, is it 90 to 180 days to germinate? Like, it takes a long time for those seeds. It can take that long. They can do it sooner, but it could take up to, you know, like very long for them to germinate. So look up how many days it takes. So say something only takes a week to germinate, 7 to 14 days. In that little Ziploc baggie, you'll also see how, like if I sprinkle some of these in, and again, if I have 10 seeds in there and only 2 germinate, in the time span that they say, that there is some that are still viable but not as many. But that is a way to check your seeds if you want to see if they're even worth saving or not. But like I said, remember, no matter what kind of seeds you're getting rid of, if you are disposing of them, make sure you're disposing of them somewhere that they won't, if they are viable, that they're not going to become an invasive weed in that area. I need to put that in like that, and then tap those down because I don't think I did. And those are parsley, so these are in alphabetical order this way, and I will put markers in them. But let's do these here. You know, we're already coming up to the hour, so you saw how it made it into that much dirt, even though it started off with one little pouch. So we'll sprinkle out our soil. Microgreens, here we come. I know they said the microgreens should grow, so we should be able to actually even have them on the live next week. You should be able to see them, and then I can make a sandwich. Where did we put our microgreen seeds? Here we did. So I know there's two. There's the mixed one, and then there's the red cabbage. I'm going to try just the mixed one this time, and I'll do the red cabbage later. I do actually have cress in with my seeds, so I do like growing cress. So even when we were in Canada last in 2019, I grew cress and microgreens with the kids. So anybody can do this, easy as pie. You can even use containers that have got food in, like clear containers with a lid, plastic containers that you got food in or whatever. You can use those as a little micro greenhouse for your microgreens as well. Actually, I'll do this again. Just gonna put, with microgreens, you can sow, you know what, I'm gonna sow them all. You can sow more seeds because each seed is gonna become one plant, and that's only one sprout, and you're gonna want quite a few for your salad or whatever. So each seed is only one sprout when you do microgreens. So we're gonna sprinkle them more thickly, I guess the word is, or what word is it that I'm looking for? So I'm gonna confirm what it says with the instructions. And it says, Make sure there are no dry patches. Gently tap the compost and smooth out the surface. Sprinkle the seeds evenly on top of the compost, gently pressing them down to make contact with the surface. Carefully remove the tape strip and seal the top flap of to the back of the pouch. With the pouch standing upright, carefully pull out the top gusset to make space inside the pouch for the seeds to grow. So I'm gonna tap them down into the soil to make sure that they have good contact with the soil. That's not only for the roots to go in, but that's also for the seeds to be able to get the moisture from the soil so that they can start the germination process. There is even some seeds that like to be scarified, like you can use sandpaper on them, or some like to be soaked like for 24 hours before you plant them. It just helps them absorb more water. So there's a sticky strip here. And then we fold this over. Well, again, this is an old thing, so I don't know how good the stickiness is. And then you open this, like the bottom. Nina, what's up?
She doesn't recognize me.
Oh, right. Call her, please, so she stops barking. Aurora has weird makeup on.
Do you
so
like
Nina
it?
doesn't... Oh, yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, do you want to come and show
It's-
them?
Chucky.
Oh, she's like Chucky. How gorgeous for my plants.
I know.
Scaring the seeds before they grow.
Alright, love you.
Hi, Lisa, just jumping on. I've almost killed the 2 plants I have. Aw, sorry, Laura. I can't say anything. I am good at killing house plants as well. So we're gonna make that out like that so that it has room for the seedlings to grow up and it makes its own little greenhouse. And like I said, there's these holes there for, where did I put that thing? The suction cup. So when does it say to put this, to enjoy a fresh, eat with and to use the suction cup to make sure the surface, I'm not going to use the suction cup, but it has a hole in the back so you can put the suction cup on so you can hang this on a window, but I'm just going to set it in the window. So, and like I said, next week on the live, you should be able to see our microgreens that we grew in there. And then maybe we'll use the same little baggie and grow some of the red cabbage. So now I will clean up this mess when we are done on the live, but I'm just going to check comments, and we have a few more things to do before we can finish this live. Let me roll this forward so that it's easier. Oh, okay. My mother-in-law Trisha says me too, please. So Trisha, just let me know what seeds you want. I have so many that not a hard thing to do. Do you know what? Nope. Okay, I'll show you our, like I said, I'm going to check the mushrooms after a couple of hours just to make sure that it's absorbed the moisture, but you can see that it's not moving much, so it has absorbed a lot of the moisture. But like I said, these are so old that sometimes when soil has gotten so dry, this is for houseplants too. If you let a plant dry out where it's like super dry, then it takes a while for the soil to actually absorb the water. Say this plant was like really dry and I took it out of the pot to water it. The water will just run through and it won't actually absorb the water. What you want to do in the case of a plant that's super duper dry is that you want to have a container and fill it with water, place it in there and give it a half an hour, at least 20 minutes to half an hour for it to absorb the water. And if it's absorbing from the bottom, you can feel on the top or put your finger in to make sure that it actually absorbs some water. So the drier the soil, the longer it's going to take to actually put that water in between each dirt, piece of dirt to hold some moisture in. So that's why some plants that are dry, if you just water them from the top and let it all run through, then they'll dry out really quick because it didn't actually hold any of the water that you put into it. With houseplants, never let water sit in the bottom of your pot. It's better to, unless you really know your plants and you put a little bit of water in, it's better to take them out, water them from the bottom, like I said, in something where it absorbs the water from the bottom. Or if you do water them from the top, let the water run through. Make sure that they're not dripping when you put them back into their pots. And don't let any standing water, like don't have any standing water in the bottom of pots. Ooh. So, hang on, there we go. In there properly. So I will label these. I will put all these on the window ledge and I will show you guys. I can see that there's more comments. So again, I'm also going to show you guys this. Remember, this is all the seeds that I have that I don't need, that I'm giving away. And we talked about viability of ones that are older. Some of these are old and they'll say to use by dates that have already gone by, but it doesn't hurt to try. So if you know what kind of seeds you want, veggies, flowers, annuals, I don't know if there's perennials, whatever you want, let me know and I can post some of these seeds out to you. Otherwise, I'm going to be donating them to different organizations. And when it comes to April, then we'll do this seedling kit here, at least starting it indoors or in the greenhouse. And then even if we move the seedlings to the outside into the garden, into the raised beds after they've grown. So that's a funky veg, and that was a gift that I got as well. So I'm going to scooch over here to read all the comments. Laura says, I love how much greenery you have. Thanks, Laura. That's because my greenhouses, I've taken my greenhouses apart. I had 2 small ones and I've taken them apart and I'm having to overwinter a lot of plants in the house right now. Well, there's no greenhouse over winter, and my greenhouse was, my new one was supposed to be installed December 14th, but our concrete wasn't level enough, so we've had more concrete poured. It was just poured last week, so by Tuesday, anytime after Tuesday, the installers are able to come back out and put the new greenhouse together, and I'll be able to get all of those ones and these ones out of my living room, and the other ones that are around the house that are supposed to be overwintering in the greenhouse, and I'll have more space in here. But some of these are houseplants that I made to look nice. I'm not as good with houseplants as I am with the ones outside, but even the ones that I'm overwintering, some of them are doing okay and some of them are not happy in here. But thank you very much. Samantha says, and here's one I did earlier. Oh yeah, that's funny. I know, I thought about that. I do have chives out in the garden and they are like this big, so I thought about bringing them in, but I didn't. Laura says, I'm not sure if I've now drowned them. I've put water underneath on plates. Well, again, if you have a plate underneath and the water can run through, don't leave water on the plate. You can water them that way from the bottom if there's a tray. You can put the water on there, but after like 20 minutes, a half an hour, make sure there's no standing water. They'll have absorbed what they need. Anything extra could drown them. One of the best ways to kill houseplants is to overwater. So that is a common way that they'll either let them dry out too much and then think they need lots of water because they let them dry out, instead of giving them a little bit to just come back to life. So, but again, I'm really good at killing houseplants. So it's just a learning thing. Laura says, it may be a problem as I move them out of the brown pots and just put them into the black pot directly. Yeah, because it's easier if you leave them in the brown pots, because then you can take them out and water them and do stuff with them. When you put them into, if you put it into, like, I don't know what the black pots look like, but if they don't have holes in the bottom, and then they have no way for the water to get out, and then they really could be sitting in water, and that's not good for them. And Laura says, could I please try a few veg herb seeds, please? Absolutely. Yep. Just let me know which ones you want, or I'll give you a list of what I have specifically. And I know you're here in the UK, so some of the brassicas like cabbage and broccoli and stuff, I gotta check where in Canada, if at all, they can grow, because I don't want to send brassica seeds to my family in Canada if they don't have a long enough growing season to grow them. But if they do, then they could, I gotta check, because some brassicas can handle some frost. So if they plant them early spring and they are able to harvest them late fall, then they might have time to, again, most packets will say how long it takes, especially like things that you want to eat and stuff. It'll tell you how long it takes from planting it to when they are ready to harvest. So then you'll know if something takes 90 days, you're going to need like 3 months of good weather to be able to grow them. Laura says, thank you, Lisa. You're very welcome. So I don't want to make all my rambling hours about plants, but if you do have any questions about plants, I'm not like a huge expert or anything, but I am obsessive with them, and I may have the answers so I can find the answers for you. So let me know. But this one was about the plants, mostly because I'm cleaning, organizing, the season's coming, the greenhouse is coming. I'm very excited, but this is still a rambling hour, and even though we're over time, which is fine, makes up for all the time I'm late, we're going to do the regular rambling hour stuff, so just give me a second. So if you've been keeping up with the rambling hour, you know that one of the segments that I do now is our plan for end of life and our end of life and our afterlife, like our funeral and what's going to happen with our stuff after and everything else. I don't have a pen. Oh yeah, it's stuck on here. So unfortunately, I have a family member and somebody else actually. There's a few people who have passed away. I mean, there's always people who pass away. There's always people who are being born and stuff, but there's a few people who have passed away in just the last week since I've talked to you guys. And there's a few people that I have that are in hospice or like palliative care, like they're on their way. They're ready to take the journey on their next phase of their existence. So it's bleak and sad for some of us. It's, if you believe in an afterlife and you believe that we go somewhere really good, then it's not as sad because you know that there's going to be people, well, not people, but you know what I mean, spirits waiting there for them, grandparents, family, and everything else. So there's part of it that for me, someone who believes in the afterlife and knows what's coming, is exciting because, you know, like when I go, I'm going to get to see my dad again and, or feel his spirit and, you know, however form we are in after we die. But, it doesn't make it easy for those of us who are left behind, especially if it's a parent or somebody, you know, a sibling who's close. It's very hard to do that. But I think it's even more relevant that we do this end of life planning while we're healthy and while we are able to do these things. Because when I hear or see people at the end of their life and they haven't thought about these things, it makes me sad for the family too, because it makes it more difficult for all of that. So I haven't really thought of exactly what question we will do this week. I have been adding them to Instagram, the questions that we've already done so far. And I'm going to, I put them, so when I put them on Instagram, they go into one album on my Facebook as well. But I'll do this actually after I'm done this. I'm going to go on my laptop and I'm going to move them from that album on Facebook and make a specific album so you can go back and see all the questions that we've already done, or you can message me. And I think it's question 7 this time. This is my book that I want to write them in, but I'm pretty anal, and so I haven't actually written anything in here yet, because when I do them, I want them to look really pretty and nice and probably different colors. Like the question will be written in a different color than the answer and everything else. So I am writing them down, as you guys know, but this is just, I'm not writing them in here until I know what they are, but let's use this for now. So this week's question, I know we did the obituary, so your eulogy or your obituary, you can think about what you want those to say. If you passed away now, and see, this is the thing, lots of us would like to hope that we live for a very long time. And saying that, I met an 87-year-old lady this week who I thought maybe was only 70, and yet she's 87, and you just never know how long you have, so we could live for a lot longer. But even if you do your obituary or your eulogy now, you can always add to it, change it, and that's the point. If you wrote your obituary right now, what would it say? What have you done in your life, whether you're young or old already right now? What have you done in your life? Are you proud of where you are? Are you proud of what you've done? Are you proud of who you are? And if not, then change those things and make it look different, even in a year. Update every year your obituary or your eulogy to say, you know, and start doing those bucket list things that you want to do. So here's the question for the week. Do you want any music at your celebration of life or your funeral? Is there any songs that you want played? And if so, what songs? Because again, if you want a specific song or something, then they're not going to be able to play it if you don't let somebody know. Now, I know, for me, okay, so songs for funeral / celebration of life. I had a few. They're not all coming to me right now, so I'll write them out after. But I know one of them that has been since I was a kid is and it's called "I'll Be There" by. It's an 80s song. Give me a second. Holy moly. My brain has farted. I already have a, so all of this stuff that I actually have, like I've told you before, I've written my, not in this book, but in a different book that I have like a life book that it has different sections like this too with tabs. And one of them was like, what I wanted all my kids, like, so I've been writing like kids' names and everything that I wanted to do when I was a parent and everything else, and little jokes or anything that I had for kids. It had a section that was my wedding. So if I saw things like how I'd want my wedding when I was an adult and stuff like that, I had that section. And I had a section for boyfriends. I used to keep track of like when we started dating, when we broke up and everything else. So I have that section. But the last section in that book, in my life book, is my funeral plans and everything else. So I've actually planned this stuff out. So those songs that I wanted played at my funeral are actually in that book. So I can look it up there. But Escape Club, is it "I'll Be There" by Escape Club? I hate that I'm forgetting this right now. The lyrics are, and I'll look this up and I can put it in the comments here, but the lyrics are over mountains, over trees, over oceans, over seas, just think of me and I'll be there. And the chorus is like, just call my name and I'll be there. I may have died, but I've gone nowhere. Just think of me and I'll be there. I think it's the Escape Club. So I will look it up for sure, but I think it's "I'll Be There" by the Escape Club. And there's a couple other songs that I wanted played at my funeral. I will confirm with and put it in the comments on that. But that is your question for the week for your end of life book. Put it in there, your plans. What songs, if any, do you want played at your funeral, your celebration of life, or any of that stuff? Maybe if you are in a coma, or you're at the end of your life, or you're even if you end up having dementia when you're old. Again, this stuff can happen like in 30, 40 years from now. But let's write it out while we're healthy, while we can write, and and things can change. But if you have dementia, is there music that you would love people to play for you? Or if you're in a coma, is there music that you'd love them to play for you? Because there's still the chance, that, I mean, again, it depends what you believe or what you've studied, but that, people in a coma can hear. And people with dementia, lots of music is actually one thing that they tend to remember. And those songs that, trigger something, happy memories for you and everything else. So write those out too. But definitely songs for your funeral or your celebration of life and your wake, whatever type of celebration you're going to have for your end of life. And you can put them in the comments here too if you have suggestions for songs that you think are great for the end of the life. And what song was it? I just heard somebody had, oh yeah, do, another one bites the dust. So somebody had that at their funeral, and there's some that are silly like that too, that people have, like, so, people will probably be like, ding dong, the witch is dead when I die. No, I'm just kidding. But, yes, so I'm pretty sure, yes, it is "I'll Be There" by Escape Club. So, I will put the link to that song in the comments, not just the name of it, but I'll put a link from YouTube or whatever, so you guys can hear the song if you want to hear what I want my funeral song to be and what I've had as my funeral song since I was a kid. It just is a beautiful song. It makes sense. And yeah. So that is the end of Rambling Hour with Lisa, Season 10, Episode 2. And we will see you next week when our little greenhouse is sprouted. And I don't know that I'll have a theme next week. But again, these don't have to have themes because we can ramble about anything. So if you want to keep in touch, if you want to be my guest on here, then let me know. And if you need any seeds, let me know. All right, love you guys, and we'll see you next week. I am going to get up and put my big fat face in there because I should have a controller so I can just shut this off, but I don't. So I am going to come here and just check the comments as well, but I don't think there's any more. Okay, ready and set. Love you guys. Have a good week. Bye.